welcome to Obsession Engineering at a very sunny Donington Park. We are here for the first official BSB test of the year, and so far it's looking lovely and sunny, but the forecast today is to be very windy. But luckily, now we're a superbike team, we get a garage. So welcome to the Rapid Honda pit garage. Rob is just doing something. I'm sure it's very useful. Preparing. Right. It's been a little bit hectic last night getting the last few little details done. That barely pans out because we just need to trim a little bit to miss the oil cooler. We've put matting in them so the exhaust don't burn them. And I suppose we ought to really show you our new motorbike. This is the first time we've had it in full livery, and it looks pretty darned awesome. And in the sunlight, the paint is really pearlescent, so it really pops. So that's kind of funky. We had to do photo shoots and video bits with Franco and the bike yesterday afternoon, and then we had a few little finish off jobs to do, like actually putting mud guards on it and a few details for last minute bits that turned up. But we are pretty much set and ready for FP1. We get 3 hour-and-a-quarter sessions throughout the day, so the whole team is here. Rob's finishing off. You'll meet our other mechanic in a minute. Boasty is sat in the corner. Matt is looking stressed. But yeah, everything is go. As we now have more stuff to transport, we also have a big lorry. It turns out once Matt had done his lorry test, he got a little bit excited. And basically, like every 4-year-old boy, he wanted his own lorry. And now he's got one. It's not the newest, fanciest lorry in the paddock because our budget isn't as big as everybody else's. But it is an articulated lorry for us. This thing's getting a bit serious. The infrastructure gets bigger everywhere when you get into superbikes because you've got more track time, you've got more stuff basically. So we now have a proper wheel rack with power points so that we can get all of our wheel and tyre stock in the rack on warmers all at the same time. We've got half a dozen sets of these thermal technology tri-zone tyre warmers with rim heaters, this bit in here. So they're all kinds of awesome and they're going to keep us toasty and warm. Proper calibrated weighing scales for weighing the fuel tank for when you're doing fuel measuring, because that's the most accurate way of doing it. An actual trolley thing for putting the fuel jug on, which is always going to be useful. And then we just have flight cases pretty much everywhere. The trucks are full of them as well, of stuff. So some of it is bike spares, some of it is tapes and consumables, trays, and just all the little bits you need to actually go racing without having disasters all the time. Compared to the bike we had when we basically finished testing in Spain, the top yokes changed colour because we had to change it because it got bent in the crash. So we have new yokes. We're on a slightly different offset, so that's the difference between the steering stem and the actual forks, the fork centre, so that's basically how wide the yoke sits. That's the offset is changed because we've changed the head insert. So you see this bit down here, you can actually take where the standard steering head bearing would sit, you can put inserts in them to alter the position and angle of the steering head. So we've actually got a little bit more rake, but with the front end a bit more forward. So we're a little bit steeper on our steering angle. And there is a logic behind it, but I'm not going to tell you what it is until I know if it works or not. If it's a disaster, we'll ignore that bit. It is the same shock, but then in the bottom of here, the linkage is the same one we had as well. But now that I have chassis software, we've worked out the way we can get this link to be as close to mimicking the stock link as we can, so that this feels a little bit more like the stock and hopefully will slide a little bit more like that as well, because that was one of our issues in testing, was this grips and bites and the stocker slides nicer. So you can basically alter the length of the linkage using that adjuster, and by altering that you can alter the link ratio, and this all gets quite complicated, so now we have some software to do it. So this is Zero chassis. There's several different versions of chassis software, but this is stuff that Honda use, so we're on it as well. And basically what we're going to do in here is any changes we put into the bike we put in a column, and then anything we want to change we can put in the next columns, and it will show us the difference on the bike. So it'll tell us the difference with trail, anti-squat, centre of gravity, rake, wheelbase, all that sort of stuff. And so instead of an educated guess, we now actually have figures to work from. And I will admit, it gets quite complicated, and even just translating the figures into what they mean in my head takes a little bit of getting my head around. So we're not experts in that yet, but we are learning. This is scary. Pete Boast has gone digital with a laptop.
I've got a laptop.
Do you know how it works, Pete?
Well, I found Wi-Fi.
That'll do.
That'll good, isn't it?
Wi-Fi is.
Right, Wi-Fi. Yeah, I've got it.
Right, so that's for checking up on his laptop.
Yeah, just so we can have live timing on. So Franco, if he runs in, he can sit, look at it straight away. And obviously, after we can sort of download the sector times and stuff like that, really. So.
And presumably, if you're out doing some spotting, if you video anything, you can put it on the laptop and
Yeah,
talk to it as well.
definitely. Definitely. So we're
good to
a
go.
bit more prepared this year, aren't we, Franco, on that? Yeah.
Well, we're looking a lot more prepared than he as well.
Aren't we?
Right, and then come on then, Franco. Obviously been training hard over winter. We've been in Spain. Are you ready for it?
No.
Good. Not just
We're
me
ready
then.
now. We're ready to go now. Now the proper testing's here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be riding with the people I'm actually racing with. It's
On the
time.
familiar circuit as well, so we know what.
Yeah,
what
it's
we want the
proper
bike
now.
to do.
Yeah, we've got a direction to go in on a track that I'm actually riding on. So yeah, it's proper now.
Let's get going, eh?
Get going.
So anybody who doesn't know, Rob wants audition for Hollyoaks. He didn't get in, so luckily we get him instead. And Dan has joined us this year as well, and they've just been downloading the instructions for our tri-zone tyre warmers, because it turns out you can have different settings for how hot the rim is, the tyre is, and how hot Dan's tee is. Session before ours had the checkered flag, so we are less than 5 minutes to go before we're live on track on our full-blown swim bike with everybody watching, basically. So it's daunting, it's nervous. Yeah, we'll be all right. He has admitted to being nervous. Probably won't do it on camera. He's just watching the last of the live timing and getting in the zone a little bit. Bike is ready. We are ready. Time to go. We are on track with the big boys. Are we nervous, Jez?
Absolutely not. What could possibly go wrong?
Right, we're just at the end of our second little pit stop in the first session. We've done a couple of 5-lap runs. Tyre wear is looking good. In general, the bike is working and he's fairly happy. We're mid-table, 17th or something, which is okay because we're just getting going. We've made a bit of a tweak to the forks for a bit more, just stop it diving as much so we can basically attack the brake a little bit more. And now, obviously, with the tyre beginning to wear, we're spinning a bit more. So tried something in the rear. It might work. Yeah, and then just always the usual thing. There's tiny little details everywhere. So, yeah, we're about to roll out again. Have another go. FP1 done and dusted, and we finished 20th on a 1 minute 31.7. So, not so bad. Right, Danny's just resetting the fork height. Because we've had the compression leg out and we've had Olin's change the shim stack in it. Because what we were finding in the session was the more and more we closed the shim stack, the damping, the more Franco liked it. He liked the feel he was getting from it. And so we've gone with a different shim stack. We sort of talked about that after Spain, so we changed the shim stack in now to give him a different characteristic, basically give it a bit more compression damping in effect. So Dan's just torquing the yokes up, that's back in. We had a little niggle at the end of the session, annoyingly with the quick shifter that was cutting the ignition when it wasn't asking for a gear change. And so he did his fastest lap and actually lost a few tenths on the run to the line because it was cutting coming out of the last corner, and then basically had to mission abort after that. Which lost us literally like 1 or 2 laps at the end of the session, so not too bad, but frustrating because he was chasing Hickman at the time, would have knocked some more time off. But no, we've looked through a bit of the data. We had a bit of an issue with the rear suspension pot as well, which we've had a look at. So, bike-wise, we're ready to go. Fuel's wading in, new tyres are on the rack ready to go in it. This is going to be ready in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was definitely the first time in a long time where I've actually had some proper feel with the bike then. Really sort of not going fast by any means yet, but actually feeling the bike. So like I said to Duncan before, if we can keep going in that direction, keep going the direction that we went in the bike and keep making positive changes like that, that tears up. Couldn't care less where I'm at on the times. As long as I'm getting that feeling, I'm going to be happy, because I know when it comes to the race I can dig in, push for a proper result.
So, better than Spain?
Yeah, I think I'm riding better as well. Nothing to do with mechanics, so I'm just riding so much better.
Quite right. So just a quick interlude to thank our awesome sponsors who are on board with us for this year. So, check out Rapid Training in the corner, and a big thank you to Lime Solicitors and our other awesome sponsors who have come on us with this journey. If you would like to be involved with us and the Franco Born adventure, drop us a message in the contact point in the corner and we'll get you on board to join the fun. Right, we've just sent him out for the third session of the day, so it's mid-afternoon and it's still quite windy, but it's not actually that bad. Middle session, we actually went a bit quicker, and we didn't change a tyre the whole session. But there was a few little niggles basically. We had missed gear a couple of times, so we had a look during the session at the shifter settings, and we've made a change for that that should help it. And he did the last one at the end. That did seem better. And then we were getting quite a lot of weaving down the straight, which is unusual. And so we've changed some fork settings in it. Basically, we've gone softer on the springs because it wasn't using a lot of the average, so it was sat at the top on the top out springs, like bouncing the forks down the straight. So we've gone softer, so they should be deeper in the stroke everywhere and actually work better, and that'll help the turning as well. And so a few of the problems, it should be better. And of course the question is always, it should be better, but is it better? That we have to find out. So he's out there riding around. Yeah, it's been like 2 hours since the last session. It has been busy, but hopefully we'll go faster. Halfway through the last session of the day, the session 3, still got a bit of a stability issue. The fork changes were better, so we went a little bit quicker, and the winds got up, which is masking some of it, but all the front boys have gone a bit faster again, and we've only gone a little bit faster, and so we've still got a bit of a stability issue that we've tried some geometry change for. So we've altered the fork, basically lowered the whole bike a little bit to see if it's more stable. It may or may not work. This is the thing we have to test. And if it doesn't, then we go the other way and see if that's any better, basically. The joys of testing. You have to go and test stuff. Getting a lot of questions asked of us this weekend, so hopefully we'll find some answers. Right, we have finished all the testing for today, and the bike looks like it's in lots of pieces, but this is the usual maintenance stuff. So fuel tank off and weigh it so we know exactly how much fuel we've used in a session. Rob's just basically, he's actually changing that because it's got Zeus clips in, not screws. So it'll be quicker to change seat units in future. And then it's obviously wheels out because we're getting tyres changed. We'll have the brakes apart and clean those. General look round and all that sort of normal routine maintenance stuff. There is going to be some not quite so routine maintenance tonight. We've been having a bit of a gear shift issue all day. It basically just isn't very smooth. And we've been forwards and backwards with some electronic settings, which haven't really helped it. And so to discount it being mechanical, we're going to take the engine out of it and put a spare in it. And basically it might not be mechanical, or it might be, but if we swap the engine, it discounts that being a problem. If it's the same tomorrow, it's a lot easier between session 1 and 2 to change some electronic settings. And the nice thing is, Rod from Honda has been in, he's looked at our gear shift data, and there are a few bits he could change, but we don't think it's the answer we're looking for. So that one's coming out, spare one going in. Oh, happy days.
Yeah, I'm eating shepherd's pie while Rob's taking an engine out. Sorry, Rob.
On the timesheets today hasn't looked particularly brilliant. But there are some positives, aren't there?
We've made a big step, definitely front end. There's a massive step what we've made. Looks bad on timesheets, but I'm a lot happier, and that's all I'm bothered about, to be honest. So, yeah, going into more a lot happier. You just need to change an engine, really.
Small detail. Right, so what we're saying about the front end is you've got a good feel for the front now, so you can, trail really deep into Redgate and places like that and take some liberties with it a little bit and get some time back.
That, really. We've sorted a problem and made another one. Hopefully that one's a bit easier to sort out, really. You expect to be able to ride in a straight line comfortably, and we can at the minute. That's the only thing we need to sort out now. Everywhere else, I'm totally comfortable. Can enter the corners good. Can trail the brake. Can ride it how I want to, really. I just want a bit more rest on the straights, to be honest. Just to relax, rest my arms, reset. If we can sort it out on the straights, I know we can go a lot faster than we are.
Yeah, and to put a bit of detail into that, at the moment you're basically having to fight it a bit down the straight, so it's trying to weave and fight you, and through some of the direction changes, but it's good mid-corner, so basically when you pick the throttle up we need to fix that bit.
Yeah, at least there's just one area we sort of need to look at now. Before it was like corner entry, mid-corner, exit. Everywhere, yeah. But now we've just got one thing that we need to look at, really, so...
Yes, so in effect we've halved our chassis problems because we've only got to fix one end of the bike.
We've halved the chassis because we've taken an engine out as well, haven't we?
Yeah. So, right, I better get back in the garage.
Yeah, you can go do some work now.
Yeah.
It's been a good day tomorrow. It's a bit windy, but I suppose everyone's in the same boat. It's been a bit blustery all day, but no, we've chipped away with a new Honda all day, and it's worked out quite well in the end. Just got to keep going, haven't you?
Yeah.
Keep going.
You rode that one in Spain, or you rode a Superbike in Spain on Metzler's.
Yes.
How much difference is there when you go to the Pirellis?
There's quite a bit of difference in fair. Yeah, there is. Yeah, especially with the front. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, the front is completely different tyre, to be honest. So it's this morning basically first time out on the bike. The first time we sort of rode this year's BSB bike, which is a bit of an eye opener this morning, getting blown about, but it was good. I had a really good day. I can't complain at all. You're riding your motorbike and it's quite warm.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's been like, 18, 20 degrees today? Just a 50-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah.
but
the wind's quite warm.
Yeah.
It's not cold, so I can't complain. It could have been worse. It could have been raining.
Exactly. It could have been worse. You could have actually got blown off.
I don't mind that.
A Superbike with no engine in it, and two engines. That one's still warm, and that one's out. Fresh one ready to go in. So team effort to basically lift it up and slot the bolts in, isn't that right, Pete?
That's it. Easy.
Is this a bit deja vu, Pete? Donington Park doing an engine change late at night?
I mean, we seem to get sort of used to this job in this garage, don't we? It's sort of like, it's not the first time we've had one out there.
Gearbox issue, Donington Park, here we go.
Here we go again, yeah. That was a lot of gear changes, I guess.
That must be it.
Yeah, but no, so we've done it before, we'll get it done.
Yeah.
We've got a fantastic crew with us.
Have we?
Yeah, well, we have, we have. Rob's trying to flash his muscles, but in him, I was more referring to Steve and Chris, actually.
That's fair enough. Right, I suppose we ought to probably lift that lump in then.
I'm not going to do it on my own. I was hoping somebody's going to give me a bit of an hand.
Right, second engine in the bike, and from the moment we put the engine bolts in to firing it up, it was an hour and 4 minutes. So that's not bad going because we weren't actually rushing particularly with it. It's useful to know, basically, I think if we had to do one in a real rush, 2.25 hours probably to do a complete engine change. So yeah, always useful to know how long this is going to take if you needed to do one on a race day. Right, fuel tank back off because we'll fill it and weigh it and set it for the morning. We'll do a last fluid check and bits in the morning, like level check. We will clean the calipers in the morning because we haven't done those tonight. I have made a setting change in the shock. So yeah, that's it. Day done, and actually considerably earlier than we were last night when we didn't have to do an engine change. A big thank you to the wonderful couple who got us a box of celebrations. We particularly like free gifts in this team, especially if they're either money or chocolates. Right, and that is a wrap for the first day of testing back in this country. The result sheet doesn't look brilliant, but to be fair, we've actually still had a right laugh with the lads, and we're still having fun, and the rider is actually quite happy because we've got good feel with the bike. We just need to fix a couple of issues, which kind of hoping we've now fixed. But we won't find the answer to that till in the morning. So I'll see you then. Right, morning. It is Sunday at the Donington test, just before 10:30, so it's a few minutes before we're first rolling out today. But it has actually been quite a busy morning. We've been doing a few little bits. There's a setting for the bike. You have to do a thing called a dog-to-dog setting when you change the engine. Basically, the tiny little tolerance differences in the gearbox and where the shift drum sits and the percentages on the like voltages and stuff for the shift drum and stuff. To get a really good gear change, you have to have them absolutely bang on. So you have to go through a dog-to-dog process with a laptop plugged into it, which is a little bit time consuming because we've only done it a couple of times. So we've done that, and then we were still struggling a little bit with the settings yesterday of not really getting the bike stable enough. And especially with the wind, that's been really playing us up yesterday. And so we'd made a little bit of a change, but I was umming and erring whether it was enough. And I went to have a chat with our mates next door in the Honda garage. And the joys of being a supported junior team is they're actually giving us data. And so they gave us some really good setting ideas that they found worked really well yesterday with Tommy Bridewell and Andy Irwin, Andy Harrison. And so we're trying their geometry in this bike. And so hopefully it's going to be quite a bit better. It is a significant change. We've basically got the whole bike running quite a lot lower, and that should give us a load of stability, but we're also running it short on wheelbase. So it is going to make the bike ride differently, and we need to get out on track and try it. The only other slight problem is, if you can see the flags and the trees behind me, it's very windy today. Yesterday was windy, today it is currently 30 mile an hour winds and gusting probably more, which is terrible for trying to set a bike up. But unfortunately, because we've done the gearbox thing and some setting changes, like, we really need to go out. So we're going to have to. The boys are going to have to hold on tight.
I think the tyre's done.
Yeah.
The gear
Yep.
lever as well. So when I chase,
Is it still doing it?
it's not.
That way?
The cut is a big.
Right, okay.
And it's sort of like, it's like it's giving me a bit of clutch on the chase. So that,
Like the clutch slips a little bit
yeah,
and then comes
so
back.
the cut on the quick shift is causing a spin, and the back tyres.
Right, okay. Right, we'll sit down and have a chat through, yeah? Right, so it feels like we're getting somewhere with the settings now. Franco was happier. We've got rid of a lot of the wheelie and the stability was a bit better. And so we've sent him out to do a race run. Roddy from Honda's also been in and updated some of our shift settings, so it should give us a smoother gear change. So yeah, we've sent him out to do a 12-lap like sprint race equivalent. So me and Jez are sat watching the time boards. We're down here, we're 14th quickest of the bikes on track at a 31.0. Car ride is at 28.3, so we're a bit off. But we're still finding our feet with it a little bit, whereas Carl's obviously got all data from last year and, you know, the confidence of a man who can win races. So we are chipping away. But the nice thing is he's into the race run and he's only just off what we did yesterday, and it is very, very windy out there. And the more laps he does, the comfier we'll get with the bike, and hopefully the quicker he'll go and go and go. So that's the plan anyway. Mike is in taking photographs because Mike is the editor for Bike Magazine.
I am.
And so if you actually want to read about our exploits as well as watch them, buy Bike Magazine.
Definitely buy Bike Magazine. Subscribe to Bike Magazine. Why would you not? Yeah, we'll have something in every issue. Yeah, it's been following Franco has been really, really good for us because the readers get him and they get the team. They get it's just got something that resonates with the readers. Yeah, and because the Boasty thing as well, because everybody loves Boasty. But Boasty's been with Bike since about 1842.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good for us. So yes.
Buy Bike Magazine.
Buy Bike Magazine, yeah.
A couple of minutes before the session, we've had a chat through what we've changed on the bike and a little bit of a plan for the session. So we're just hoping the weather holds now.
Yeah, hopefully get a few dry laps in at the start. I'm getting ready nice and early this time. So hopefully I can get out with some fast boys and maybe learn a thing or two.
note there's a bike missing. Luckily, it's a technical problem. He's stopped on circuit, so we'll get bike back in a few minutes and find out what that is. But we are taking some positives from the session. In that session, we've changed the offset in the forks and he liked the feel in the front, so he was happy with that bit. But we're still getting a bit of an issue with the rear, and he's still having to fight it on corner exits. And so we actually tried something a bit different. We went up on the tyre pressure to see if the tyre would hold its shape better. And it was interesting that we did a few laps, 4 or 5 lap run, and actually went faster, but it was a new tyre, not like a tenth off, but did go quicker on it, with more pressure in it. Franco said it felt too hard, but we went quicker. But would we have gone quicker because we put a new tyre in it anyway? That is the question mark. But it didn't make masses of difference. And then we actually tried a slightly softer throttle map again, sent him back out on that, and that his lap times, obviously the tyre was dropping off by this point. He did almost exactly the same lap time again, so that tells us you can take power out of it, especially at Donington where the straights are fairly short and you're having to fight the bike. Having less power actually makes your bike go faster. So we're learning, and we'll learn even more when we get bike back. Right, we've had the bike back, and this is not the fuel tank coming off the first time, that's the second time, because we've killed another fuel pump. We killed one in Spain and we've killed another one now, and so either we're just being really unlucky with fuel pumps, or there's something, as in we're feeding too much power to it at some point, or there's something odd going on, because 2 fuel pumps dying in that short period of time is unusual. They are the standard fuel pumps out of the road bikes. Normally you'd have no problems with them. We're not actually getting any more fuel pressure out or anything like that, so it's odd. But we have got a spare, so we can get running again. So all we've got to do now is sort the rest of the chassis out so it actually works properly. Right, final session goes live in 3 minutes. We have made another geometry change in the back of the bike. Bit of an admission, the digital verniers that we were using didn't zero, or more accurately wandered from zero last time I was doing the link adjustment movement. So our shock link was the wrong length, which changed all the ratios and made everything wrong and made the radars wrong. And so I realised that when I went to set it, I went to change it by 2 mil and had to move it by 7 mil. So that is significantly wrong, and would explain why we've been hitting our head against a brick wall a little bit today. But that is now going to be better. It's going to be a lot closer to the stock with the way that the anti-squat works and holds the trail in place and stuff like that. So it should be quite a lot better. The only way to find out, of course, is to go and ride around on it, which he's going to do in a moment. A few minutes into the last session, and the rain started just coming down enough, but the marshals were very active with the flags, which is excellent for safety, so thank you to the marshals. And there was quite a lot of water on his visor in a couple of places, so he's pulled in, and we're just giving it a few minutes for the rain to disappear completely. So we're going to chuck a few litres of fuel back in it and do the 10 laps again and eat biscuits while we're here. Right, race control have said all rain flags have been withdrawn, so time to go again then, boy. Feeling better though?
Yeah, first lap was definitely a lot more positive. I didn't really... Obviously I was trying, but I wasn't on my limit, nowhere near. And to be honest, if it's not a speed thing, it's just as much a physical thing. I didn't have to put nowhere near as much input into the bike as I did previously, so we're definitely heading in the direction we want to be going.
Right, let's go and have another go then. Rain stopped play a little bit again during our race run, and obviously we've not explored the full potential of our new setting change, but it was a tiniest little bit better.
A lot better. No, to be honest, we end on a really positive note. We're all getting a bit worried, I think, at one point, starting to scratch our heads. Yes, me too. But we've ended, and I did the best lap, not even trying really. Like, I was totally comfortable the whole time I was doing it. I wasn't trying to push too much, so I knew I had a long run to do. So I was just sort of keeping it right, and come back in, did a little better lap. He didn't look very happy when I came back in, so I thought, hell, I'm not going any quicker. And then you came over and gave me a cuddle in the end, so we went quicker, but yeah, overall, I'm only happy about this test from what we did at the start and in the end, really. The middle was
Terrible.
a bit messy, to be honest, but to end on a positive is always nice. Going into round 1, I'm totally happy with that bike now. That I can ride it hard and that we can push for top 15s, top 10s, and that's what we want, really, isn't it?
Combined timesheets when they're out, you're going to look at it. It's not going to look spectacular
Yeah,
because we would do
but
that
we
in
know,
a race run.
yeah, we know
The
the
feeling.
progress what we've made, and I know how it feels now. So don't be surprised if we go out and win round 1. Really, that's all I'm saying.
Excellent. I shall chill the champagne. So yes, last session, 30.1. So we knocked thick part of half a second off the quickest lap we'd done the rest of the weekend with the lap timer turned off and trying to do a race run. So actually not trying to be absolutely on his limit. And okay, as a standalone lap time, you know, Kyle and Tommy are a chunk ahead. But look at the company we're in. Same conditions, basically same bikes and tyres and stuff. With Max Cook, Lee Bob Jackson, Danny Kent. And it's like, that is a much better group to be in. But the most important thing is we've got the bike to feel how he wants it. And so that means when we go to round 1, we can actually push on a bit. And that is it from a eventful and quite stressful Donington BSB test. And so, okay, we had a bit of a mare getting a base setting that actually worked for him. But when we did, he was really, really happy with the feel from the bike. And he knows there is really good potential there for us to go forward. So yes, it's been a bit of a journey this weekend, and at times I thought I was going to pull my hair out. But we have finally got that working how he likes it, which rather lightened the mood. So next week we head to Spain, and we hope you'll come with us. So thanks for watching, and join us again soon for another Spanish adventure.